If your tests are slow to write, hard to read, and painful to change, you probably don't have a testing problem. You have a design problem. In this video, I will explain you 3 design patterns that makes test automation simpler, more readable, and easier to scale. My name is Matúš. I'm Senior Test Automation Engineer with over 8 years of experience, and on this channel, I explain how test automation and software quality actually works in real systems. Okay, so let's start with the first design pattern. On real projects, we usually deal with the systems that contain complex data with 20 plus fields. In such cases, test setup becomes very verbose and repetitive as you need to create new data for every test case. Constructors and setup methods have too many parameters, and small change of the data can break multiple tests and you need to fix it on a lot of places. And this is where builder pattern came in, because it allows us to start with valid defaults and explicitly change only what we want from the context of the test. This way, tests describe intent and not the complex data construction. Therefore, if we use builder pattern, our tests will be faster to write, they will have better readability, and it will decrease the amount of mistakes that we would otherwise do in the complex verbose data setup. Additionally, builder pattern allows implementation of domain-specific language and enables fluent method chaining. This allows your tests to be written as a business actions and removes implementation details for test bodies. By the way, I cover DSL in much more detail in a separate video. If you are interested, I will put link into description. When it comes to UI testing, in case of we do not follow any design pattern, our tests can look like this example. In such cases, locators are spread around multiple places and the tests are tightly coupled with the UI structure. With such design, in case of any small UI change, many tests are broken. Fortunately, PageObject design pattern is here to solve the problems because it encapsulates UI logic and locators into one place. By the way, notice that our example test rewritten in PageObject model didn't get way shorter than the original one. However, it got way clearer. If a test is written in this way, it exposes only meaningful UI actions instead of low-level steps. This way, tests interact with page, not with low-level HTML elements. And this brings benefits of lower maintenance cost in case of UI changes, clear separation between test logic and UI mechanics, and overall more readable and stable UI tests. The third problem that we often run into when we work on real projects is that tests require complex setup. For example, in case of a system is stateful, in order to perform a specific action and verification, you need to at start get into the desired state. If the state machine is complex, also the test setup become complex. In our example, we have a test case with given when-then sections, and it's obvious that the given section is super complex because of the need to get into the certain setup. When we deal with stateful systems that could be described by relatively complex state machine, we often run into problem that setups are becoming complex. They are not only becoming complex, but they also repeat across multiple tests. This way, tests are not becoming focused on the intent, but starting to have too much of the setup logic. The factory design pattern is here to fix this problem. It centralized creation of test objects and states. Tests ask only for what they need and not how to build it. Therefore, this design pattern hides the construction and removes need to write such details within the test. As we can see in our example, the given section get way shorter and now the test can focus on its intent. So factory design pattern provides shorter and simpler test setup, easier changes when creation logic evolves, and provide more consistent and reliable test data. Design patterns don't make test automation magically easy, but they remove unnecessary complexity in test data, UI interactions, and test setup. Builder, PageObject, and Factory help tests to focus on intent instead of drawing in the details. When tests describe what system should do, instead of how it's wired up underneath, they stop slowing teams down and start to support change. If you are dealing with problems like this, that's what this channel is about. And if you see differently, I would be genuinely interested in hearing your perspective in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.